So I just finished another podcast, Voices from the Sperrins. I was talking to Séamus and Colm Murray from the Ballinascreen Traditional Group and also the Set Dancing Group as well. We talked about set dancing. We talked about their trips away to Europe, different countries like Hungary and Belgium. We talked about how it all came about, their fundraising, how their uniforms came about, and just a general chat to the two of them, and it was quite interesting. So tune in, download and enjoy. Thank you very much. So welcome to Voices of the Sperrins. We're looking at the heritage and history of traditional music in Ballinascreen area, and also we'll be looking into the history of set dancing. So my guests today are Colm on my left and Séamus. Thank you very much for coming. Colm, you were a committee member since 1987 when the Coltas kicked off again. Séamus, you are the PR man for what is now the Ballinascreen Traditional Music Group, whenever it became that. So you're both welcome, Colm, Séamus. I've known Colm, you for a long time, and I'm sure throughout this interview we'll be nipping away, Séamus, so don't worry. So thank you for coming. So Colm, I suppose I want to, and I should also say that for people out there, when I was talking about traditional music, you were a violin player yourself in your young days.
Played a wee bit.
Aye, and Séamus, did you play any instruments or was it just the set dancing?
No, I was never had no music in me.
Set dancing and drambuie.
Drama.
Colm, you don't take the drambuie.
No.
If you do, the town doesn't know it. You know, you're good at hiding it. So tell me, Colm, back in them days, just about, you know, the early days of the Coltas for you joining it back in 1987. Like, what was it like then?
Look, it was, well, it was good to get it going, like, you know,
Yeah.
and I remember when I got involved, the classes would have been up in the changing rooms now up at Dean McGlinchey Park.
Yeah.
And then we moved down then to town. And
Who was the priest at that time, Colm? Father Derry, was it? Or?
oh no, Father Derry wouldn't. Who would have been the priest? Had we a priest at that time?
We had the priest of Séamus Brady in the background there, blessing us all. So you moved up there, and then I was down and looking around at your An Scioból.
Scioból, aye.
So you moved up to school, and then you were down, and so when did, like, say, the connection? You know, I know that the history of the likes of set dancing and killie dancing, I was talking to different people and talking to yourselves a bit, you know, researching this, and some of your people were saying that it used to be in houses.
Oh,
where, you know, and can you remember that time, Colm?
No, that's before. Paddy,
yeah.
what age do you think I
know.
am?
So I should say at this stage, Colm and Séamus have just retired. 66 they are, each between them.
So, but years ago it was all, you'd hear tell parties and it was house dance, you know, and you hear Doyle saying, like, around the house and watch the dresser, you know.
What was that again?
Around the house and watch the dresser.
Oh,
you know,
yes.
But you know, they would go, and I heard my father, Priest was talking about them. And they would maybe go on to 6 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
You know.
Well,
and then they went out and went to their work.
And it's, you're saying there about your father. So obviously, culture, music was in your home.
Well, it was there.
Yeah. And do you like, as I say, because I know I was talking to Morris Bradley was on about 6 towns and how you know, just fiddle players, Séamus, would just arrive, you know, into houses, and it sounds like damn good crack.
Oh, it's great.
And so at that stage, I know that it sort of switched into like community halls as such, where you would, I suppose, I don't know, I don't want to say this all, but maybe the priests seen there was a lot of people gathering, and you know, you could have got people into the hall, and all of a sudden, I suppose the word community came into it, and then culture, I suppose, with that community. So going into the local halls as such, can you remember them early days when you were young? You know, would have been.
Well, I remember going to Keely's, Fair Keely's, you know, at that time. I went to Brádaigh there.
Yeah.
Or Newbridge was another big Keely place, you know.
And would it have been like loads of people?
Oh, well, at that time the set dancing wasn't what it is now, like, you know, that was just all Keely, more or less, you know.
Yeah, and that was a form of dance on its own, Colm, was
That's
it?
Aye.
And so the likes of would that have been like sort of people treating it like a night out? You know what I mean? Because you met a future wife and partner, husband.
Well, Brádaigh, that's where Bernie and me met.
Wow,
you know?
there you go. That's amazing. And can you remember the date and all that?
Oh, no.
Had you flares on? Had you flares? You know the flares of the 60s? That's brilliant. And there was obviously other people would have met in halls.
But it's a great way. We met great friends through it there. She must tell you, you know, friends that we met through the dancing. It's, you know, they're friends, genuine friends.
Lifelong friends. And so, Séamus, you went to the Gaeltacht. Isn't that right? And then that's where your love of the set dancing, is that right? Do you want to talk a bit about that? Was that you going to learn Irish, or had you always known Irish?
That's what to learn the Irish, and one it's always a language and culture week that went on. That's where the craic was. And one of the events was set dancing in the afternoon. So that's where I got into it. I hadn't had 2 left feet on me, like.
And did you just, I suppose, did that just click a wee love for it? And
once I come home and Carmel went with me, and the funny thing about it is we couldn't dance with each other.
No way. You could marry each other, you could have children and a family, Colm, but you couldn't dance together.
Dance with each other. And, we're tripping over all.
That's brilliant. And were you like that, Colm? Did you?
No.
You were all right. You could dance. Well, you had Brádaigh Hall experience. Séamus hadn't that. And so
we'll never come back. The set dancing classes was up in the Bamba Hall at that time.
Yes.
Bernie was taking the classes up there, so we said we'll go up and give it a go. So. Haven't looked back since.
That's brilliant. And like a Bamba Hall seems to be like the you know, it's like the heartbeat of the parish back then, Colm. And just because I never really found out any, maybe no anyway. When exactly was the Bamba Hall built? Was that the same time as the Dean McGlinchey Park?
I would say before that. Had to be, Paddy.
Aye. So it was like a historical.
I would say that was only a hall maybe about, you know.
Wow. And it wasn't that big either.
No.
And but a lot of stuff would have went on. And so you were both then, like Séamus, as I said, you were the PR man. You kept the stories rolling, and you have some great of pictures and different things that you have. We were down. I suppose I should say at this stage, and Colm, you mentioned it to me about Morris Reagan and the wee spot out the back. When that came about, did you know about that spot, the wee place where the set dancing is now, and you were saying about the community was good at that time to you?
Oh, aye.
Do you want to tell a wee bit about some of the people?
Well, we went on to Mars. We used to be over at the school there.
Yes.
The St. Colum's there, and then sure. And the assembly hall, and maybe it only 8, and a big hall, like, you know. I mean, the man coming from Colm, he took a mother of him, she must have been 8 years old. The woman was found out, she wasn't dancing, she only came off the crack. So we come out to Mars and we went onto the lounge.
Yes.
And then he was renovating the lounge, so to be fair to him, he done up An Scioból for us. Like, he's been very good to us down through the years.
That's brilliant.
And that's how we come about the Scioból, you know.
And so for people out there, that's Morris Reagan, as I say, who's been influential. And when you first went in there, I suppose, like any group or organisation, I'm sure you were glad you had a base, Colm.
Aye.
And so that early days of being in there, can you remember who was there in your early days and some of the, some of the people?
Francie, Frank goodness rest him, he cut the tip on 70.
He done the official opening.
There's a photograph of him on Scioból, it was 79. He cut the ribbon for Scioból.
Who cut the ribbon?
Francie Conway, Francie Frank, peace rest him.
Aye.
Great man.
Aye.
So, God, we're great. We were good nights. We were on there every Thursday night, like, you know.
Yeah.
But it's hard to keep it going. But you need the young ones coming up, you see.
Yeah.
And there's that much going now for them, sure.
And your days, whenever you were starting back there in Colm, maybe there was more of a zest to go and join, traditional groups. It's like I suppose joining the GAA and you love of something and you take part or storytelling, whatever it is you're into. And well, do you think that going back to the likes of fascias and things like that there, because I remember the fascias going on and there was loads of people calling. It's as if there was loads of people dancing, do you know what I mean? And do you think it's something that maybe people out there that used to dance, maybe by seeing this, maybe think, you know, I could still, like you said about that lady at 80 who wanted to come down, only there was no oil heating on and some columns for, that could draw people back?
Well, Pat, if you got as many people talking about the set dancers as we have got, Muskie, there wouldn't be a hall in Ireland to hear them. You know? And you know, we know their own.
I didn't know that song, but I'll be there next Thursday night.
Do you hear it all the time, Séamus? And I suppose you can't follow them people up or anything. Because you're two tough men. You know, I wouldn't want you knocking down the door. If you said to me you have to set dance, Paddy, I'd be dancing down on that floor right away. And I didn't tell you as part of this here, you have to do a wee dance together, did I? No. So you went from that there, as you say. That's interesting, Colm, because I suppose, in a way, hopefully with people listening out there, you know, that might be listening, that might want to take part every Thursday night. And like, credit to you and Ginger both. And so who would be like, I've seen lots of pictures over the years, Colm and Séamus. And I suppose I want to take up now about, you know, them early days and things like some of the trips you might have went on and what went on there. You can tell the people out there what you want to tell them, all right? and I should say to people before you come in here, you had a wee hand on a book called the Bible. And I giveth everything, Paddy, here today in this podcast, so help me, Séamus and Colm. And
so I not teach the Bible.
And so them early days, I suppose, what was it like for, like, were you able to be competitive? You know, was there other groups that you want to mention that were out there that were doing the same thing?
No, we didn't go to competitions.
No. Just, you were invited out there. There was a man, he's from Glengormley, Sean, what do you call him?
Sean Gillen?
Yeah, Sean Gillen was a man that organised the trips. And the way they worked, you were invited out to a country. Well, you paid your own way on the flight, but after that, they looked after you, fed you and done that. And it was great. It was great.
And like...
you danced through the day then, and at night you don't know whatever you want.
See that there. Beep, 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 beep. The next 5 minutes of this conversation is going to be completely deleted out. So for people out there, if you want to know exactly what happened the next 5 minutes, stop me in any shop while I'm lifting a loaf of bread. And you can tell by the laughs of these two men that it's stuff that should not be out there.
If they want to know, join the Set Dancing Group.
If you want to know the truth, join the Set Dancing Group. And so them early days, because I know that Bernie, God rest her, went round and she started like set dancing in them, right. You know, in them early days. I suppose to be that incubator for people coming forward. So I suppose for people out there, because you were an independent group, and as you said, Séamus, you weren't in competitions as such, and so in them early days, like. What about the likes of, you know, raising money to go to these places and, you know, and how, like, and, you know, to get there and your uniforms and your dancing shoes and all the things that go with it. How did that all come about, Colm?
Well, the funds was, we would run set nights there, you know, get money for it, you know, and then you'd get a grant from the council. So, but... nobody gave you many handouts, like, you know. Yeah,
so it was an independent. I just see a photo of Bernie come up there. There's Bernie there, good people. The innovator with Colm and Séamus and all. And Bernie was, I suppose, steeped in Irish tradition, dance, music, culture in this area, Colm's wife. So I just wanted to show that. And she was always smiling, which is something that's brilliant. And so... and there's the man beside Colm. I didn't even notice you there. You're sitting there all cool. No, you're not tanned up in that, but you're a bit pale looking in that there. You don't usually look as pale looking. And so we're going back then. I suppose I should, you're saying, Colm, not many helping you. Was there not you know the way this community goes and you try and do stuff and try and raise, there's so many different things going on, I suppose, in the area. But you raised the money anyway. You got there.
Oh, aye.
You got there. Was it like, did you run wee nights or like you're saying, and was there like cake nights and whatnot or?
Oh, no
Whisky
cake.
tasting nights, Séamus. You're the PR man with the whisky tasting nights.
Yeah, well, no, well, say no more about that.
Check out the 5 minutes deleted. And so I'm noticing here, I suppose, to my left is some beautiful uniforms. And I suppose for people out there, I suppose, Colm, you could, you'll see some of the pictures. This is the waistcoat. I think I would. What do you think I would look all right in that?
It wouldn't fit you.
I could use this as a big coat. So, Colm, you want to hold that a minute for me? I'm going to try and describe what's going down here, and some of the lovely. They always tell me not to leave. Not to leave the Séamus. I'm not giving you the dress just because you're a manly man. I'll not be holding that. But Séamus, if you there it is there. Séamus. And Séamus, I'll give you a bit there. And do you want me to hold this, Séamus? I'll hold this. You hold the waistcoat because I don't want. Watch your back there. Watch your back. So, Colm and Séamus, tell us how these all came about for the people out there listening, because there's good stories behind all your uniforms and stuff. So, Colm.
Well, them was Bernie Peace Esther took it on herself to get them and made them. I think Séamus shipped one time to.
I cut out the shamrocks.
Some shamrocks on it, you know.
Out the shamrocks.
But that was all done.
It's all done by hand.
By ourselves. We hadn't to go out and buy them, the whole Bernie.
And there was no sort of set dancing uniforms, Colm, or none. You know what I mean? By
that was just for us going away there.
Brilliant. And they look well, and they've been all around Europe and the world. You know, yins have danced in many corners. As I say, I felt when I was sitting there earlier on, I felt like Mickey D. You know Mickey D? I seen this big harp. I didn't know what was going on, Colm. I thought I was going to have to present you two guys or something, you know what I mean, apart from Stout at the end of this. But that's brilliant. Stella's going to say you don't know what you're folding there, so and I can hear them laughing. Séamus, can you fold rightly there? Colm, what do you like folding?
I'll go on ahead.
Nobody can shit about the fold. It's grand.
Don't worry about it.
That looks class there. Séamus, give me without your green one, because it looks like a big hanky there lying beside you there.
That was the green. The men wore the green and the women wore the red tops.
Brilliant. And so, as I say, some of the trips and stuff, I say, you went on. Like, I should be looking at my notes at this stage. So, one of them was 2002 in Manchester. Because I should say, Colm, you have connections in Manchester.
Well,
Rochdale, aye. So, the trip to Manchester in 2002, and so sometimes when we show pictures and stuff, people like to be called out. Colm and Séamus. So I don't know if you can see them all there. If you want to, is there anybody you want to mention? Because I could be stopped in the street and they'll say, Colm and him doesn't mention me. I was in the set dancing for 25 years. How did he forget me? How did he forget our wee Lizzie?
It's dangerous to mention the name.
No, more likely to say, he mentioned me and he shouldn't have.
So the full back row there, we know you, but we cannot name your names. Is there anybody there you want to sort of, because there's some people there, is that part of the Manchester group with you or mixed?
Well, the mixture. There's
the Given
ones there at the front.
Yeah.
And there's some of the Manchester ones at the back. See that on the black. She's passed on. That was the Mary Woodow's I talked about. Mary Woodrow, aye. That's Breffney's wife there. She's Manchester. That's them three there. Them three's from Manchester.
And were they set dancing groups too?
They were, aye.
There you are there, Colm.
See the man with the hand between us. That you, Séamus, there with the
glasses? That's me there, aye.
Yes, you had more hair that time. And Paddy Kelly.
Paddy Jarrett.
Who's that?
That's big Geraldine.
Geraldine Geraldine Murphy. And that's the young woman there, aye. That's Shirley.
That's Paddy Jarrett's wife.
Paddy Jarrett's wife. Barely Peace Esther. Mary Armstrong. She's a cousin of, she married a cousin of Bernie's. And that's them three there.
That's all done given
there.
So did the given ones go over with you in that time too?
But not at all. We went over there. We was 12 or 13 years. Every Halloween.
Aye.
You were 49 the first time we went over.
Well, I'm now 59.
You tell me you were 66. I don't know what to make of you two boys on this guess. And so, taking it from there, I suppose, in 2003 you went to Belgium. It's like you're a rock and roll band. You're always, at that time, you know, you're touring around, you know. And so, I suppose, for people out there, each one of them trips would have probably cost a good bit of money. You all had young families at the time.
A lot of fundraising.
And so you were out there raising the money. And so how many yous would have went out then, Colm? Was it the whole set? Or
Well, there would have been eight in a team, and there were some musicians. There must have been 6 of them, was there? 7?
That time we went to, first time we went to Belgium, we had 16 dancers and 6 musicians.
Wow. And who were the musicians?
They were Cross Keys.
Cross Keys.
Cross Keys, aye.
Yeah, and because they would be a place where a lot of trad music and that Colm would be happening. And so the likes of, what was it like over in these countries? You know, when you come from here at the start, you know, I was watching some ad on TV the other night where pasta came into this country and everybody was slipping it up and all. What was it like going over there with the food? And
no.
Colm, come on, spit out the, you know, tell me what it was
It's
like.
not everything I would eat anyway, but it's, you know, it was good enough. I done nothing.
We didn't starve.
You didn't starve. What kind of food? For people? You know, what kind of food have you been out there, Séamus, at that time?
A lot of fruits.
Aye. So they'd have been giving you mango and cherries and apples in the morning. And Colm, you just wanted a big fried egg and sausage, a big lump of bacon.
They were very good, right?
Aye. And so that group then came here, and so was it like, you know, Colm, you know the old hurling and Gaelic exchange where you stayed with a family and they put you up and fed you? Was it like that?
Well, they came over here. We put them up in the Royal College at that time.
Brilliant.
Week,
and
then took them around different places.
Yeah,
you know.
And for you, Séamus, I suppose being the PR man at that stage. To just capture, was it about capturing the of its time, you know what I mean? Because I suppose for people listening, like they could look back and go, God, that was, you know, 20-something odd over years ago, or whatever it was. And for you guys, I suppose, logging it, it's good for the people for the future to see and that this was happening. And
well, we had a parade through the town. And they're very spectacular flag wavers on it. These big flags with big balls of brass and lead.
Was that their culture? And so
you could, all the guys give on to me. Just the whittle.
It was part of their culture, was it?
And threw these way up onto the air and caught them and all that.
That's deadly. Because in our day, them type of things been thrown up in there instantly after it'd be a riot. Well, you ain't gone. Just take off. And suppose, and when you, I suppose, like that as a form of cultural exchange, you're ahead of the game. You were, you know, you were, as I say, you were in Manchester, and you were, you know, and all of a sudden you're in Belgium, and all of a sudden they were here. So what? And the Harp and Shamrock Festival as well. That would have been another one.
We organised that for the Belgians.
And how did that come about then? Or did you just, who was organising it, Séamus, yourselves? Or, and was it easy work or hard work?
It was easy to us, aye.
Did you look at all the logistics and rules and laws around it? Did you?
Afterwards.
I'll see you after. Apologise. Well, everything came off all right. You know what I mean. And I suppose at that time it was bringing something to the town.
Of course.
You know, and I suppose when you're looking at things like that now, you know, international exchanges, and it's always kind of happened, but to happen in the form of you know, dance that you're doing, for the likes of then set dancing versus, say, the Belgian style of dancing, how was that, Colm? Was it transformed? You know, was it a worldwide type of movement? Because you know the way you were explaining it to me, maybe to explain to people, there'll be people listening and going, well, he's on about Irish dancing, then he's on about set dancing, then he's on about Killian. But would you give a wee bit of insight into where set dancing actually came from for people? You know, because you explained it, you know, it was an old form of dance.
I don't know where it originated from, Pat, but it's going a long time.
Aye.
And it's the Keeley dancing, you more the set dancing, it would be more to the floor, you know.
Yes.
You'd keep more to the floor. So where the Keeley dancing would be, the steps, you know, would be higher up than that.
And is it? But are they similar?
Near enough, but the music would be, there's a great love to the set dancing music, yeah.
So the traditional music has a set, you know, because you done both, you danced up in I remember you in the face, you know, and so was that set dancing then, or was that Irish dancing? You know what I mean?
Oh, at the face?
Aye.
Oh, it'd be old Kelly at that time.
Yeah, the old Kelly. And so you're saying there's more life in the set dancing?
Well, there's great love to the music. Well, that's my views anyway.
What about you, Séamus?
Everybody's.
What do you think? Like?
Definitely more of a love to the music than that there.
Yeah,
and funny, and the set nights, the band makes the night.
Yeah.
If you have a good lively band, it'll lift the crowd.
Yeah,
and vice versa. Then once the crowd gets going, they lift the band.
I hear you. So it goes both ways. And do you notice now that because I remember the old gatherings, Colm up in schools and all, there was always live musicians. Mm-hmm. Now it seems to just be like music. Do you think just tips or whatever? Do you think that takes away from what it's about?
Well, for the any of the set dancing, any of the nights, it's still the bands. Like,
that's brilliant. Yeah.
Like everything else, they're getting costly, you know.
Aye. With them days of just turning up and.
Well, we had a band one time, and that's come back now. It was they were from down south. It was what was it? It wasn't euro. It was punch that time, and they were £550, right? But they were getting that in sterling.
Yeah,
right? And 17th of March happened to fall on a Saturday, and I phoned the boy to see, and he was looking £700. So. Couldn't do it. That's come back.
And it wouldn't have paid.
It wouldn't. No. You would have had about money till it. You know.
Aye. Yeah. And that was maybe, I suppose, a whole change of the whole thing, Colm, wasn't it? I suppose years ago, maybe the musicians were closer. And then all of a sudden you had to go and
the only local bands at that time would have been down at Sweeney, and then the Emerald.
And the Copper Pit.
The majority of them was all down south, you know.
There you go. And in 2006, you went to Belgium for St. Patrick's Day. Is that right?
Went to Belgium.
For St. Patrick's weekend.
You abandoned Ireland. Orlando to Belgium. There. Now, Colm, there's a good tan in your soul there. And could I say that man's moustache is way ahead of its time. There's people...
That's a McCoy.
Aye.
Oh, he's a McCoy.
And the man on the left, who's beside you?
That's Séamus. That's cousin of Bernie's. Séamus Armstrong. He's from Brádaigh originally.
Just outside in Gibbon. And so is that's the squad that went to Belgium for St. Patrick's Day. And so who, I suppose, and the normal St. Patrick's Day, obviously all over the world, is carnivals and out in the streets. Did you go out in the street, or was it inside?
You were playing, going out in the street. Oh, aye. Parade.
And was the crack good?
Oh, mighty.
Aye. And I suppose, like, it's a great thing to always have, what's the word, Colm and Séamus, a goal. You know, you seem to be on the road in them early days a lot. And, you know, and you've got the T-shirts, you got the wine, as I say, and the water. And it sort of, I suppose, opened up for you. But for the likes of, you know, meeting people from other countries and different things, did you find that the cultures, you're connected through the cultures of the dance, if that makes sense? Was there dance similar to yours?
No, but
every country had their own
culture. And you were saying, Séamus, about the Belgians throwing up the things and all. Had they a different, like, I know...
they had their own wee dancers made up too. Like.
And did you do any cross...
Oh, we had mixed one there. We had mixed one dancer. Then was it the Zulus, they called them.
The Zulus,
they were dynamite.
That was in Hungary.
Well, I watched a film one time about Zulus, but it wasn't. It was out in.
Them boys would bounce up and just land their arse in the tire. Oh.
Were they? So where was this called?
They were taking that was
Hungary.
And so, And that's a hungry.
That's hustling hungry there, aye.
Like, I tell you what, you're getting, I'll tell you what, I see before this old fake tan and all, you guys had the tans.
We took it over.
We was rubbing it on, Séamus, so what was the crack there?
Oh, no.
And, so there's some different people in that, that whole set there, isn't there?
That big boy down there, he was one of them, wasn't he?
He was on the gauge,
He was the gate.
Balland.
And so, like, I see the group's big there, Colm.
That's the whole thing, aye. That was it, the musicians and all there, you see.
And there was more musicians here than dancers now. I think we only had the 8, maybe 10 dancers there.
Well, Paddy Joe is there again, isn't he, and his wife? And
Paddy Jared.
And you're there, Séamus, and Olivine Trainer is there in that one. And is there anybody else from the town in that one there, Colm and Séamus?
Well,
Carmel, your own wife?
Aye.
We can't leave out Carmel. You didn't meet at Brádaigh Hall at Colm and Bernie, but we can't be leaving her out, all right? Where did you meet? Just curiosity, Séamus.
School.
School.
Attack on Marvelt.
There you go, Colm. Totally educated.
I
man.
wasn't educated.
They wouldn't let me in the tech. And, no, so that's deadly. And so I suppose for yourselves, alongside that, there's always been. You mentioned there, Séamus, called music. You know what I mean, and that's, I should say to people that. The An Scioból, is that right? Scioból. That it's a twin place. It's also for the Irish traditional music as well. And like we talked a bit, Colm, about yourself playing on the early days. When did you did you teach then? Who taught you?
I went to Brendan McCallister, Brendan Craic Priestester. We're up in the cottage.
Up Cahor? And was that...
Years ago.
That's where Séamus...
Séamus heard us now.
Aye. And was she like...
She was a teacher, a music teacher.
Brilliant.
Taught me the fiddle.
And was it just the fiddle she taught?
Aye.
Brilliant. And what age did you have been then?
I was still at school.
Wow. And so I suppose, when was your transition from... when you were, like, say, the Cultus or the Ballinascreen Traditional Group, as it was before you get... I should say to people, you're retired now from all this. I don't know if I said it at the start.
Retired undefeated.
And hearing and tell them two men that I know they're in the 50s are retired, Paddy. And but yes, I retired, and I suppose I should say to people out there, 37 years, for yourself, and just as long.
Well, I joined in the...
You in the 90s?
Early 90s.
And Colm, you were there from 87 or so. You're a veteran. I don't see you a big load of medals there for all your veteranness and all that there. And
but, showed them.
But you did. There was a big night. I should say there was. It was a gathering of the traditional group in Reagan's, and you were both down, like a presentation night, which I suppose. On one side, it's a celebration, but I'm sure on a side, if anybody's involved with something, it's a sad thing too, because it's kind of like you're in between. They'll do it on here to me, they'll bit me, Colm. Not be long. I'll be going up and seeing you and Séamus. Just the boys that bitted me.
You'll end up with a fool.
Or they'll fold me over and just drop me in an envelope and just I'll float away. But that night, I suppose you were hearing some of the, young people and some of your own Dermot's children were there playing as well, and I suppose that's a great thing. It's still for you, Colm. The culture of music is still going through your family, and and still being passed down. And is that something you're proud of? You know what I mean?
You like to see your Wayans all doing well. Keeping the traditional up.
Yeah. And you guys. I should say the story here now. It's a big one. When I suppose, Colm, if you want to tell the story about when you were All Ireland champions and you had a daughter born, you decided an All Ireland medal is far more important
to get done.
You were confident. You're trying to win that cup, I'll tell you what. So tell us the story about the year, and it was 87?
75.
75? I don't know why I went to 87 there. Must have been my last year just of minor. I went out of minor then. I was 19. So tell us the story about the road to the All-Ireland set dancing.
Bernie Pearce was on the dancing team, and then someone happened to become pregnant, you know. And the morning
God works in mysterious ways, doesn't he?
Definitely. So the morning that we were heading off to Galway, she decided she needed to go to Marfelt, the Mud Ulster.
And was Bernie a dancer then?
She was.
Yeah, she would have been dancing.
And John McGuigan, Pearce and Boley, he was driving the bus. We dropped her off at Mud Ulster and went on to Galway. And Siobhan was born that night, so that was it.
There you are, Siobhan. Your dad was there and tapped 2 feet and Séamus was there and a wee dram.
No, he before my time.
Oh, where Séamus was only a cub. Séamus was under 18 then. He was under 18. And so, Siobhan, this is for you, isn't that right, Colm? And fair play to Bernie as well.
Yeah,
and
that's it. That's it.
So who owns in that team there, Colm? Because there's people there. I know. I'm going to start over in the left. That's Ollie McGuigan. And then I know that man, but I don't know his name.
Séamus Donnelly.
Séamus Donnelly. And myself.
Yourself, Colm.
And
Lars McGinnis.
Séamus Doherty. Doherty's on there. So where's Séamus Doherty at? That has to be Séamus Doherty.
It could be.
And then that's over there, that's Kit Hearn. Anna Doherty. Patricia McSwiggan, Peace Esther. An Scioból and Ann O'Keehan, Peace Esther.
Ann O'Keehan up Gower. And so that particular team there, did you enter in after that? Like
that was the score at that time.
Yeah.
The clubs would have put on, you know, they're still going the score as such.
I suppose you would explain that to people, Colm, what way that works. Is people, and you know the way there's a score and there's first and all. So the score as a club, you enter under.
They started that, you know.
Yeah.
And that's going a long time. And I remember that year, and Money Glass would have been a good dancing team too, you know. And Cathal Boyd, I don't know how you know him or not. He's married till Mickey McCallis, you know, Quarterly Mickey's to talk about out in Longfield.
Yes.
He married a sister of hers, and they had a filling station at Money Glass, and the night down at Newbridge, that was the final. And we beat them, you see. But that same weekend, he was robbed at the filling station.
Jeez.
And some of the boys met him after and says, "You were robbed." I says, "Them adjudicators don't know nothing."
That's brilliant. And I suppose bringing back an All-Ireland into Ballinascreen that time, would that have boosted your numbers as such? Or was there a bigger culture then in them days for it than now?
It didn't. It helped the place all right. Green Lock was up the same year. They were on the set on the Keeley dancing. They came back. They were tied for first place. So, but no, it was good.
And suppose did you enter after that again? Or?
Oh, we'd go but you can't run all the time.
I know. And I suppose for yourselves, it's part of the heritage and history and culture of you as a group, Colm, you know what I mean? And so I wanted to go back then, I suppose, even, you know, Colm, you might remember about, like, you know, just before yourselves and the people that were maybe supplying, you talked about musicians there, you know, like people like Art McAnally and people like that there. Can you remember that era? For dancing and music connecting together, you know, the cassette dancing versus...
Felix Mullen. So they're nearly all the way. Felix Mullen, Mickey Trinner, the postman, we Andy, so you know. We were footed down in An Scioból there for a Kelly band here from Screen. And they're all Francie Frank, Felix Mullen, Mickey Trinner, we Andy. And they're all away.
And them days, I suppose, you know, you would have had 6 towns, had their own. Would there been bands just in every wee, you know, Killy bands? throughout?
I don't know what I mean. There was you talk about the Hibernian band here. There was a band, the 600 at one time. And then you had the brass band here as well.
Yes. And
the Macaulays would be that. There are a lot of boys from Mara Cares and that from Mara Felt would have been at that time. That's years ago.
There you go. And
Martin Keane.
And so there's the 6 towns.
There you are.
That's my dad in the background.
Yeah.
Over the right hand side.
That has to be.
That handsome man looks like me there. See, that one looks like me in the corner, Colm. God love it that anybody would have to do that and double up. Look, I'm scanning in there. Look at that there. You know, I should have been traditional trader.
What year would that have been?
I was only a young man then, Séamus, you know. And that was, I'm going to say the 60s.
No. I'd say earlier, but I'm not quite sure.
I can't remember them anyway.
You know, no, there was.
The 50s, was it?
Sometime in the 50s.
Sometime in the 1950s. Well, just Colm, you mentioned some people there, I suppose I wanted to mention them. And the 1987 Ballinascreen Cultus, the chairman was, you mentioned John McQuiggan, Vice was T.P. Hickson, Treasurer Michael Kelly, Secretary Frank Smith, you mentioned, you were Assistant Secretary Colm at that time, and Tony Moran was your auditor, and PR at that time was Peter Higgerty. And so like 27 years in the committee, right? So I'm going to come to some things now that's just for Party Central and let the world know. As you two men are like organisers as well, event organisers, so I'm going to talk about some of the Fleadhs. If you can remember them. Some people go to Fleadhs and don't remember that much. It was wild crack, Paddy. But you know when somebody says Colm and says wild crack, but I can't mind that much. And they shake their hand like that there, meaning they were completely blitzed. So we'll use the County Derry Fleadh, the first one that came into. I suppose you guys are part of it that came into Draperstown. How do you know you're going to get a Fleadh, or how do you go about it? And, who do you negotiate with, Colm? Is there like a chairman of...
Well, you go to... It's like the Gaelic, there's a county board.
Yeah.
Same as the football. And you're a delegate to that. And you go to a meeting and you say, right, we're interested in taking the Fleadh. And that's how you get it.
And do you have to... So when... In them days, I suppose they're the days when everything was a bit hectic and where we live. Was it hard to set it up, in them days, like a Fleadh? You had to, stop roads and...
Oh, but we stopped the roads anyway now. Nobody.
Well, you two men are the real cultists, and you are the real dancers and all that. So... Well, I suppose, can you remember back then, Séamus, can you remember some of the times then, back to the Fleadhs when you...
I can, surely.
And the first Derry Fleadh, you would have been part of it then, yeah?
Yeah, I would have been.
Yeah, so for you, what was it like? How did it come about? Because I know there's you just to take over there would be a stage in the town, and you would have dancers, and did people just randomly turn up, or did you have to program all that?
Usually we would have a fair idea of who's going to be there at such a time, to keep the thing, just keep it flowing over.
Yeah, to keep it active.
A lot of times they didn't turn up or turn up at their own time. But you managed to keep it going.
And I suppose what people should know in that time is. Back then, the town had a lot of bars, call machines. And do you think now that you could even run a Fleadh? There's only
that's what we were talking about. The big thing now is you have to get money, and when you're dependent on the pubs at that time, and I wouldn't like to be going to a pub now. What have you? 2 pubs, 3 pubs. Looking for money.
Because you need a whole pile of pubs, don't you?
We were around all the pubs and the businesses and all.
There was a lot of expenses.
Washing up for it.
And were they good to you? And
the majority of them, 99%.
99. I'd seen the wee glint in your eye there.
I'm not going any further.
This is the next 5 minutes. It won't be. Next 5 minutes. It won't be betrayed to the people out there. So we'll not put anybody in the 1% bracket, but feck them anyway.
There's guys that had the likes of Kevin Kerr and that there that are going to get nothing out of the Fleadh, but they still come forward with a sponsorship, you know.
Brilliant. That's Kevin just out the back of here.
And engineering works and that they're going to get nothing out of the Fleadh, but they still put their hand in their pocket.
They wanted it to happen.
That's right.
And then and they went well. There was no, the viewers happy with how they went. Do you get any feedback from?
We're happy whenever they're over.
As an organiser, I know how that feels. People say, "Did you enjoy it?" And you're going, "Never seen a thing."
No,
I bet you've never seen a thing.
That's right.
Isn't that right? Like, and you arrange all that there for months, and somebody says, "You just have a choir band, Séamus and Colm," and you're going, "Never seen a thing." And
the other thing is too, you see, when you're organising that, you're depending on the weather. If you have precipitation, that's it.
It's a thing in the north and south in Ireland in general. If you're doing an outside event, you're praying to the gods of power, and there is a good chance. You talked about 99% of people and 1% not giving. Well, you're 99% sure it might rain, so that 1% is your god. You're hoping it doesn't rain. You know what I mean? And so you had that, and then you went up a level to the Ulster, and that must have been a different,
It was a miracle it happened.
Do you want to explain why?
Well, we had about 5 members organising it.
It's tough.
There's a guy on the Ulster committee, a guy, Mackie Rooney from Monaghan or Gavin, and he said, "Oh God," he says, "the first time I've ever seen the Ulster Fleadh run by 5 men."
So there's a whole army needed. You men are an army, aren't you? You two is together. You just got it together.
It was a miracle. But it worked.
Nobody got hurt. It was good vibe. Everything.
We were telling you that's the night that was up on top of Johnny's roof.
So tell the people, right? So this was the Johnny Burns escape route. We call this, right? For people out there that don't know anything. So explain it to us.
We had a gadget made. Kevin Kerr was the man made it for us. For the flags,
yes,
Ulster flags up. Séamus and myself was up on the flat roof at Johnny's on a Saturday night, putting it up.
We had to go up. We had to go up the back
of a ladder.
We had to go up the back of
Johnny's.
Jim Hearn's pub up onto his flat roof, then pull the ladder up and put it up on the next.
Jesus, no fire escapes named it.
Wrestled this thing up on
the roof. Anyway, and the flags and all up, and the next thing, bang, ladder fell. That was us up on the flat roof.
You stuck?
No escape.
Were you stuck?
And only Jim McGuigan piece coming round from the chapel.
You're coming round from Mass.
I shouted at him. He came round. Saved us.
You just could have been up there the whole Fleadh. Where's he? You'd have been down a 3-man range in the Fleadh then. And, so I suppose another thing I wanted to mention, like you're right there, for 5 people running something like that there, the infrastructure and traffic management and getting all the bars involved and eateries and people in and out and SIF and access and the town still needs to go on. The famous Upcore Road,
that's right,
down the wee road. So a thing a lot of people will see at Fleadhs and things is bunting. Is that the right pronunciation there? So you want to tell the people out there, because you tell me a great story about how the bunting came about. I just think people buy bunting and all, but Yuns manufactured it out of Markieran. So who done it for you, Colm?
We got Paddy Glasgow. He cut the material for us, and I must have 6 or 7 women around on my cairn in our house sewing a week before it.
A week before, that's that. Do you mind them people? Do you want to call them out?
I don't. Anna Doherty was one. That was the last. She's dead now. She was married till boy does the lame Wooly Murray. And I wouldn't mind any more of them, But that's the way it was. You done that in them days, and nobody looked for money.
That's why. Not the QT men looking travel expenses. Just when you're around there, 52p each way, like in
the price of bread's up.
That wouldn't even buy a good Pat's pan there. So, and that shows you, I suppose, the sign of at that time, Colm, you had a good community behind you. The people were behind you, and they, I suppose, in a way. For people out there, it's hard to bring people from over the years. You've done the European people coming here, you going there, Fleadhs, and different things, and the likes of. Would you went to All Ireland Fleadhs to to dance, or with gatherings like that? There's loads of people.
No. The only I went to Sligo, right? All Ireland Fleadh was in Sligo one time, and that's what the All Ireland Fleadh was at,
I went to a few All Ireland, but it wasn't the dancing.
They have a good time. Observer and PR. Yeah. You were checking out your future role, Séamus, that Colm was going to give you in years to come. And so for the likes, I suppose, yourself, I brought up at the start about being retired and stuff. I don't know if we've got a wee picture of the retirement.
We'll pop it in.
Aye, and so we have a wee picture on the last night that you were down in Reagan's, and for yourselves, how did that feel? Just being, like, I know it's hard to retire and all, but we have a wee picture of it. I was beside you, Colm.
If you hadn't been there, I would have heard what was going on.
Well, you see, funny that night, I'd never had a sore earache. Two men giving me Dixie from right to left, whiskey and Ballygowan, whiskey on one side, Ballygowan the other, giving me this here. And I did say to you get up, you wouldn't even get up. You were like a rock star. I've got all these awards before, but I think it's great to have appreciation. Do you not think for what you've both done and achieved, and you're still motoring on the on the
we
dance.
never done for appreciation.
But it's good to be recognised. I know you didn't, but I suppose like for yourselves, did it feel good? Being recognised like that there by your peers as such.
Well, it's, as I say, we never done for recognition.
And
recognition was seeing the Waynes playing music.
That's what it was all about.
Aye. And many a child over the years has been connected to yourselves.
Yes, if started to go through them.
Aye.
Not all kept it on, but
that's
still some.
Yeah, I was talking recently to someone. It's like even learning guitar or whatever else you learn. It's always with you.
That's right.
And that spark might happen again when them people have children of their own. Calling Séamus, what I mean?
You took the keys out there, like.
Yeah.
They were. From that height, they were coming to us, like.
Aye.
And now they're all
great,
magnificent players.
Aye, because I mind them up and the back of St. Colm's. There was I don't know if it was a primary school gar and something. I remember we were doing the PA and they were really young then. There was no cold already, and then now sure they always be in Morrison's St. Patrick's Day and playing and I suppose there's what do you call them as well? The other family. It's in my head now. Some of them, they're a trad family. They would
like Maura Crawley, maybe.
The Crawley family, Colm.
Maura
and them. They're similar to the McKee family. Like all their children are really good players and parts of, and even I suppose. What I noticed that night when I was in with yourselves, and even up in the St. Colm's GAA when the younger ones were playing, we went up around. The harpers come back.
Oh, aye.
Would that have been something in your young days, Colm, that there was more of it or less of it?
No, there was very no. In my early on, there was no harp at all, But then, funny, Yvonne Devlin up in the school there, primary, she was up there and we had a chat with her, and we at that time bought harps, for the young ones, and triggered from that.
Because there seems to be a good interest, Colm, and being and I suppose the connection to Ballinascreen, the harp is huge.
That's right.
And Guinness is advertising that harp every day for us. They should be giving everybody in Ballinascreen free pints for life, Séamus. What do you think?
I'm all for that.
I'm all for that too. So I'm looking at this camera here. I think it's Diageo that runs the nuts here. Séamus is looking cans of already the next 20 years. So I suppose it's been... I don't know if I forgot stuff. I hope it's been good enough experience for you. But I suppose, Colm, I wanted to bring up, because respect for yourself and for me, for my young days, you were heavily involved in the GA. You were a chairman. I remember, and you took teams. I was in. I probably tortured you. I know a couple of our names. I could say that you could say they tortured you too, but it made us what we are today. But I remember the early days in the, underage football, and so for people out there. To realise, not only were you giving your time for the Irish, traditional group and all these trips, Séamus and all, the man was heavily involved. You were always involved in the GAA, and your family, great GAA players, county players. Connor at the minute with the Derry Senior hurling, the only man that lifted the Ulster final for Derry in hurling, an historic occasion. And so, them early days, did you want, you had culture, you had all these things in sport. Did they all go together, Colm? Did they all, does Irish music?
Yeah, I would say they would, it's all under one umbrella, you know?
Yeah, and for the early days, because you had, I suppose for people out there to know, I remember in the early days you had, it was you and Liam Hutchison, the county minors. Right. It was the first time for so many years, and you had a team that won a couple of them, Cahill and Michael Boyle and all, and because sometimes I suppose in them early days, if there's not a lot of one going on, it takes a team. I remember that time even I played hurling, Cahill and all them, and Séamus Doherty and Pat Joe, the minor team, and Malachy came in and started training us, and we won the county final. It gives belief, doesn't it, Colm?
That's right.
And I think if you look, because Ballinascreen just celebrated 90 years there, just back, and were you at that dinner dance? And was it a good?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the feed.
You didn't enjoy any of the ex-players being around or not? Was there anybody up ranting and raving at you?
No, it was a very good night.
There's a book out. I suppose for people out there, there's a book out and it's in Paddy Hearn's shop. And I got the book recently, and it is really interesting, Colm. The early days of something. I suppose it's like yourselves. It's that first saw it.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean, Séamus? That starts something, and then it becomes like if you look now, the amount of how the pitch looks. You've seen developments, Colm. And even I seen a thing on it. I can't remember the year. It was the spreadsheet for the money. Oh my God, Colm! Colm, you wouldn't get a bus now for what it was to run it for a year, Séamus. I swear, isn't that right, Colm? It was like breakdowns, a couple £100 or this, that, and hour, and the club's going deadly. We've got $1,000 or something in the bank. And so, have you seen changes in how much money it takes to run?
Okay, but sure, you'll see it here. It doesn't matter what you run, it's costing more now. Went to the shop there for a lot of groceries.
It brings up.
Oh, it's shocking.
But it doesn't stop people getting involved.
No.
And do you, just as a man that was steeped in GAA, how do you feel the format is now with all the training and?
Well, I to be honest, I think that we're just talking there about hamstrings and whatnot, and I think they're too much training, especially for the young. There's ones out there. They're out every night of the week.
Yeah.
If they're not training, they're playing, And I don't know if it's necessary for all that.
Yeah.
You need a break.
And you think that, I suppose, but then I suppose, and if you look back, in the old days, if you done Gaelic and hurling, you were kind of training all the time, but maybe it's not as fierce.
You weren't out every night of the week, but
I know.
That's the difference.
And it's hard training now.
That's why.
And everybody has to be built.
But the whole thing's all changed. You have physios and you have doctors and.
Them days you had an old white bandage.
That was enjoyment.
I remember we were talking earlier on about the.
That's right.
Can you remember any incidents where people just had to be tied up and back on the field? There's different times, Séamus, wasn't it? And I suppose like anything else, these are just it's changing times,
that's right.
And that's what it takes, Right. But looking back, you're saying about all the different physios and all. Maybe looking back, there was only your management, wasn't it, Colm?
That's right.
There wasn't like doctors or anything, was there?
Oh, not at all.
No, you went to the doctor after you were busted. If you weren't ticking off, but I suppose it's just changing times. But for the likes of yourselves, Séamus and Colm, I'll just ask you, Séamus, what did you get out of, the whole experience? And I know you're still dancing. Just give it.
Well, as Colm said earlier, we've made friends from all over the world that we're still in touch with over the years. Some great experiences. The one for me that stood out was Hungary. There were 72 countries from all over the world.
Wow!
At it. It was folkloriada, they called the crowd. They called it the Olympics of folk dancing.
Wow.
And I say, we started the first day we were on a city Pax, they called it, in the south of Hungary, and all the groups gathered there for the first, and they had 9 different streets coming onto the city centre, and so many groups come on each street, and on that street, say you had 6 groups coming on, you had like bus shelters with the country's flag and the pipe music of their country, and the whole way along the streets. It was absolutely magnificent.
That sounds amazing.
Some experience.
And how did you get invited to that?
How
did you get invited to that?
It was actually through Belgium. Somebody had seen us dancing in Belgium, and that's the way it went. You see.
That's amazing.
And from that, we were invited to South Korea, which we passed on. And
did you not want to go to South Korea?
Not particularly.
And did it actually happen in South Korea?
Oh, it did. And in France, and from that too, that the crowd Magic on Tenerife, they had seen us in Hungary, so they invited us to Tenerife. So just word of mouth, really.
Like Tenerife, is this the Tenerife one here?
That's the Tenerife one there.
And yet again, I keep bringing it up. These are great colours of skin, you call them, for a country that has 364 days rain a year. Yeah, you guys. So Tenerife, and then Bernie, is she calling it out there, or is she singing along there?
No, she's calling
it out. And so, is that something that's always needed? Someone calling out the steps?
Well, we need it for us because we wouldn't mind it.
Now people think of these guys are pure pros. And, so you were saying there Tenerife. It just sounds amazing. So what was that? The Tenerife one? I know it was a gathering. Was it the same kind of loads of people, or just yourselves?
Well, there was maybe half a dozen different groups of that. The thing about the Tenerife one too, you were only performing in the evening.
Oh, that's great.
So you'd all day free.
All day to sit around.
That's why you were so well coloured, lying at the pool.
All topped up and all.
You could see boys reading books and all, and papers and all that.
You're just you lying back taking it in. That's brilliant. And so I suppose with all them, and Colm, what about you? Like just to round off. For your experiences, and because I know you're both humble men, you're saying, "Oh, it's not about us and this and that and that," but I suppose to give credit, respecting's where it's due. And for you, Colm, how would you sum it all up over the years, your experiences with it all, and how's it been for you?
It was great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't like that to start over again now, But as far as the music is concerned, I'm a great believer in young ones there. The way I look at it is if they're playing fiddle, doesn't matter what they're playing, if they're going on holidays, they can take it and play a tune.
Brilliant.
And that to me is what it's about.
Brilliant.
It's not all about competition.
Yeah. Yeah. You like the idea of it's about the instrument, not the competition.
Oh, young ones enjoy themselves.
Yeah, because there's a lot of pressure with competition. Yeah, and for some people want to do that, and that's good enough.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough. Mm-hmm. But there's people out there, as you say, it's about
learn a lot of tunes.
And the one thing about Irish traditional music, and listening to yourself, Séamus, talk about the set dancing, you can go anywhere.
Go anywhere.
Okay.
Like you can,
right.
like it's a worldwide travelling phenomena.
Go anywhere and you'll not be allowed to gather knowledge.
Oh, aye.
That's a good one. And like for people out there too, and Colm, I know there's a big match on today, people, right? I was in here one other day, there was a big match on, but I'm not going to be like a priest calling out what it's like at half time, because it hasn't actually started yet, Colm, is that right? And so I wanted to bring up, I suppose, like you were chatting about a man down in An Scioból, Mick McElkenny. And so would he have been a provider? There he is there.
Big Mick.
Well, most people know this man here. I think there was an RTE show done on him about being special security.
For President Kennedy.
For President Kennedy, back when President Kennedy visited Ireland. So if you were beside this man, you would know why he was a presidential man. He's got a good man. And I remember talking to him and he was telling me a story about having to learn Irish to be able to join at the time that there was the army at the time and the guards, and a lady in Newry, I think it was, Colm, helped him along, he was saying. And so Mick's connected to you a long time, you call him. And I know for people out there listening from America, they can check out he was special envoy for President Kennedy back then, JFK. So tell us a wee story about Mick. You told a few wee stories.
Mick, you heard the story when he was in the guards in Donegal. Come on, closing time, you see. All the old boys would be on, right, closing time there. And that's why I say, Mick, what way does that song go? That was at the airlocked, run all night.
Cap off.
That was Mick.
Brilliant. And just so people don't know down south that it's just not some old northern thing. We're just breaking all the rules. His love of Irish music was beyond being a guard. That's class.
He was a great man.
And he's a good man.
He is a great man.
And he was down in your sessions and he would play, would he be the type of man play music?
And there was another man, his next door neighbour, a piece from Francie Frank. And another man down there too, Danny Otters.
God rest Danny. Because you mentioned, you said to me, Danny, like the slow dances. Is that right?
The set dancing.
Set dancing.
Love the swinging.
Well, for people out there, swinging is a form of dance. Just so they know. Holy God, Paddy, where are you away now with these two gentlemen? But you mentioned Danny Orson. I should say, people out there, Danny owned a music shop in Mahara. He was a fantastic man. He helped so many people, but not in the world of contemporary musicians and traditional musicians, and a fine player. A fine player. So was Danny part of your?
Oh, he'd have been up at the dancing. Then he took ulcers in the legs and pack it in. He was also a mechanic, you know.
I didn't know that.
Oh, he was a mechanic.
There you are. And as I say, he was so good to people. He would let you pay in for instruments. You wouldn't get that now. And as I say, a legacy he left behind in Mahara. And I didn't know that about he was with yourselves. So I would have known about sort of back in the day bits and pieces about traffic management and stuff, you know, and cars coming in and out and having to negotiate with the police. Okay, so you two gentlemen ran a Fleadh, and obviously for people out there. Nowadays there's a section in the PSNI that if you do any outside events, you have to go to them and you talk to them. They negotiate with you negotiate with them, and your health and safety and this and that and that. So how did you two go about traffic management and police control? Well, not mention who the sergeant or inspector was at the time.
That was something. You had to go to Marfelt right up the side of the form to have the parade, you see. And then the sergeant down here asked us about policing. I says, "You're all right," I says. "You can look on the book there, the Fleadhs here, we never no bother. You've done a good job, you stayed outside the town and directed traffic, and if there's anything happens, we know who you're at." And to be fair to him now, he says, "I understand," he says, "police presence sometimes causes."
Yeah, just be in the perimeter. Yes.
And also then about the pubs, he says, "Tell them to close the front door at the normal time in case the DA comes in." That was at the end of the story.
He says, "I've always heard of these Fleadhs," says, "but I've never seen them." I'll see this another.
No, but no more.
Did you not want the police coming in the wee killie uniform on them there, you know?
And then one of the Fleadhs with Wally Bennett was.
Wally Bennett died.
And sure, they were going to cancel the funeral to the next day. We were buried up at the meeting house there.
Yes.
So no, they come to us, and we said no, go on ahead. And when they couldn't understand, when the hearse came down the road, everything stopped. You would hear the pin dropping on the street.
Mark of respect call.
And we got a letter after it from them, thanking us.
That's brilliant.
That's true.
So you knew what to do whenever.
Yes. Do respect, and that's it.
No, that's it. And it's a thing that's in the community, Colm. And you've both been brilliant. I probably left a pile of stuff out. You're probably wondering why I took you in so many times and now near finished, but I think I've covered everything. Would you say?
Yep, unless Colm or Séamus.
Unless
have
Colm or
anything
Séamus, if you have anything else
No,
to
there's
say.
just one
Now, don't be
other-
slagging me off now at the very end here.
Another point I would want to put through, talking about bands here, there was a John Davy band, a family band from Meath. And they were they were writing their own, like, you know, as far as, and a man from Ballinascreen was in hospital in Belfast. They had travelled from Meath, family, down to see her.
That's amazing,
You
Colm.
know,
That's
that shows
amazing.
you how you make a set dance, not
That's
dancing.
That's
How you
amazing.
make friends and that.
End of story.
And that connection,
That's right. And it's still there.
total respect.
You mentioned a boy earlier on there, Paddy. Paddy, he put the title on Bernie, the mother of culture.
Well, he's right. And as I say, because listening between the lines, there always has to be a machine driving the whole thing. And Bernie was that machine, Colm, and like yourself. And she was always there.
Especially Bernie got me involved
There you go.
through the Irish language. She got me to take the language classes.
Brilliant. And did you take them for long?
Just about 23 years.
Wow. Wow. And where did you take them? Séamus?
Oh, various places.
Wow, that's amazing. I didn't know
Started
that.
up in the school, and we moved down to Morris's, or my house for a while.
Jeez.
And I think An Scioból was the last. And then, lucky enough, got Connor involved, and Connor took over. I stepped back.
Brent's Connor, your Connor, and because Connor's an Irish language teacher.
Well, I don't know what his lane is up there.
He's
covers.
He's in Glarney-Neal. He's what they called?
Is it the Given School? He's connected.
No. He covers Marfelt there and here. And
Aye. The language officer for that.
Brilliant. So
out there, yeah.
well, that just shows you too that your own kin, Colm, is still driving culture forward and Irish language. What I would wish to say today, and I don't want to curse anybody, we do want the team to win the day that we're going to see. We don't want to shout out their name in case they get it all wrong, and they'll keep it on. But Colm, I should say, you're heading now. There's a minor county match on,
Quite a few,
and you have you've grandson playing in it, taking on the mantle from your own kids. So we wish them well, Colm, don't we?
Oh, aye.
And we wish Séamus, we wish them well. Can you say it in Irish out to them, Séamus? I would wish them to get on here. You should say something in Irish that basically works out that they beat them 2-9 to no points. All right? And that's Colm smiling happy. So thanks very much, Colm. Thanks very much, Séamus, for coming in. And thanks very much to Tiernan, Nathan and Stella. And this will all be out soon. And as I say, we'll be talking about the other section, the music section with Morris and Bernie, and we'll get it all together. So thanks very much
Thanks
to
for having
Tiernan.
us.
And thank you very much. You were brilliant. Thank you.